During Ivan Duque's administration, the deepening of neoliberal policies triggered a widespread popular discontent, a crisis that worsened amid the pandemic. Therefore, the streets became the alternative for demonstrating dissatisfaction with a government that disregarded citizens' demands and whose response was repression. Our correspondent, Hernan Toar, gives us the details.
Gareth Steven Sella, 25 years old, remembers how on February 24, 2021, during a demonstration in the main streets of Bogota, and as a member of the frontline Blue Shields, he was hit by a rubber bullet fired by an agent of the mobile anti-disturbances squadron of a national police, resulting in the loss of sight in his left eye.
I went out with a shield to take care of people because the state simply failed, and there's no democracy that guarantees us the right to protest. I went out with that intention, and I remember a very violent response from the state, from the mobile anti-disturbances squadron, and an arbitrary desire to affect my life in a lethal way until they shot me. I survived, but I lost the vision of my left eye.
The first social mobilizations in Duque's 4-year term took place in 2019, motivated by the discontent of a large portion of the population against neoliberal policies. Voicing that unrest took the life of Dylan Cruz, a young high school student murdered by the mobile anti-disturbance squadron, a dynamic that decreased during the pandemic but did not disappear, nor did the police brutality that left 13 people murdered while protesting.
It is a police force that has committed many human rights violations systematically. Let's say repeatedly, over some time. That is what we believe in civil society. There is no doubt. This is something that has unfortunately characterized these 4 governments of Ivan Duque. That has been going on for a long time, but that intensified during these 4 years.
Amid the restrictions imposed by the pandemic, a social unrest developed all over the country against neoliberal policies and violence. Indigenous people, farmers, students and workers mobilized and took to the streets and highways of the country. The city of Cali, in the department of Valle del Cauca, became the epicenter of the resistance. There, not only did the police act against those who mobilized, but also armed civilians took part in the repression and human rights violations. The city went under military control, and the demonstrators were singled out and stigmatized with the consent of the government.
If you want a future for Colombia, if you truly have a conscience, please sit down and listen to the people's demands. The people who supported you and those who are supporting you will not always be there. The death of many innocent people will remain on your conscience and in your presidency.
During the 2021 protests that occurred from April 28 to July 15, and according to non-governmental organizations, there were 34 murders committed in various departments of the country, 44 allegedly committed by the police, 96 victims with injuries to their eyes, 32 homicides in the hands of police, 7 of the cases of firearms shooting by the police, and 2 due to gas inhalation. In this context, opposition congressman summoned the Minister of Defense to a vote of no confidence. However, legislators allied with the government did not approve it.
The national government and the ruling parties were shockingly silent and applauded the illegal actions of certain members of the police. It is important to mention that they applauded the illegal actions of certain members of the police.
International organizations supported the proposal for police reform. They requested to separate the police from the Ministry of Defense, to draft and approve a law regulating the scope and limitations of the right to protest, but only a law on citizen security, which grants more punitive powers to the police, was processed and approved.
Hernan Toar, teleSUR, Bogotá, Colombia.